Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, and let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, and let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, and let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words,
what is the name of the largest container shipping company? I believe that for everyone that is in the industry, I mean, that is a very easy question to answer. For someone that is a little bit far from the industry, it may struggle with the answer, but the answer is very easy: 𝐼𝐻. And also, I believe that MSC is sharing the same position, number one in the world. 𝐼𝐻, basically, that's a good news for 𝐼𝐻. They increased their revenue 55%. Wow. Revenue increasing in 55% is a number that any single company in the world would like to have. MSC, I really don't remember the numbers, but basically they have 600 plus ships. In the meantime, 𝐼𝐻 has 718. So those are probably the strongest two companies in the ocean environment, right? They move about 4.3 million TEUs. So this is what we are dealing with. I mean, and those are nice numbers, but like everything else, everything has a different side, right? Good morning. This is CoffeeBreak Logistics and Supply Chain. I am your host, Jose Montoya. We have, as always, a selective host and companion, visitors and everything. So we got the best here. And when we are talking about the best, I'm talking about Benita, of course. Good morning, Benita. You are on mute, Benita.
Oh, I said, good morning. Thank you very much. I don't think I'm the best.
Well, yeah, for me, you are, yes.
Yeah, I think I'm the best at learning.
Well, and so many other good things. Also, we got a friend that is from the other side of the pound. And there you go. Christoph, guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Good morning, everybody. Pleasure to be on here again. Thank you so much for having me.
But how do you say good night or good evening?
Good evening would be guten Abend.
And then like you're like kind of at dinner time, right, Christoph?
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. over here. Yeah.
Okay, we need our German lessons. What do you say at dinner? Like,
well, you would say, well, you can always use hello.
Okay.
Which is the same as hello or hi. That's also fine. But if you are in a more formal way, yeah, guten Abend would be the most appropriate one. Yeah.
So
okay.
It seems to be that we are going to be learning German, right?
Oh yeah, feel free. No problem.
Yeah, and I caught on to what you were saying about MSC, and I wanted to let you know that I'm going on an MSC cruise.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, like I had not known that a carrier line has a cruise division.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mhm.
you must have been in the industry a long time for you to go those directions.
So let me
'Cause
let me give you a heads up. You are going to be sleeping in a container. Just kidding, just kidding.
I am. It's my dream. You know that, Jose. It's my dream. I think the first, our first coffee break ever, which I hope you'll like replay on the day of,
Uh-huh.
is I told you that with the shipping container mess, we should all start living in smaller homes, and I would be happy to buy a shipping container on Long Beach, set up on the beach, and be quite comfortable there.
A 20 would be okay, or half of a 20?
Well, like a 40 would be nicer, but I could do with the 20.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, Benita, that's actually a funny thing that you brought up, because at least I know in Europe, there are some smaller startup companies that are actually taking old containers, repaint them, refurbish them, and rebuild them so you could actually live in them. And they look apparently pretty nice though.
Yeah, no, like I see nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Christoph, you may be familiar because the headquarters of Hellman Worldwide Logistics is in Germany, right?
Of which one? Sorry?
Hellman Worldwide Logistics.
Yeah, correct.
And in front of the building, they have a couple of shipping containers.
Oh, really? They do?
Yes, the face of the building is made of if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, it's like 2 or 3 different shipping containers.
Oh, wow.
It's
That's nice.
I'm sorry?
That's nice. That's a good idea, though.
Yeah. And Merck's, I mean, something that I love about containers is Merck's paint the rainbow in the containers. I mean, that's a lovely idea.
Yep. Yep.
We talk about that. I mean, and thank you for reminding me that, Benita. We are close to celebrate 1 year. Is that amazing? I don't know if it's amazing or it's bad, but time flies.
Well, they call me a vessel captain because I can like steer a ship in that direction for a very long time.
Captain Benita.
And Jose must be the same way. Otherwise, how would we have gotten this far?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Something happened right there, but all for good.
Yeah, no. And I'm so glad Christoph is joining us. And am I allowed to say it?
But
Sure.
Of course.
And he's going to have a show on Tuesdays called The Joy of Logistics.
Is that amazing? By the way, a logistic wizard, right? I mean, that's the right introduction for Christoph.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you for the warm welcome, Benita. Yeah, it's true. Correct.
And something that I love about Christoph is that he's passionate about this logistics and supply chain. That is probably something that is amazing, because finding people. I mean, I know there are so many people in the industry that we are passionate about that, but it's hard to find those type of people, because when you are able to get to these people is when you learn a lot, right? Because they do it because it's a passion, it's in our blood, right? And I'm very, very excited about that. Looking forward to hear Christoph inside. I'm hoping that I'm going to learn a lot. So that's all I have to say.
Likewise, thank you so much, and thank you for adding another layer of pressure, Jose. I'm looking forward to this one.
No pressure at all. I was thinking that from your show on the Tuesday, you'll likely be talking about maybe certain companies or certain commodities or certain shipping and logistics ideas that are going to give me ideas to classify things, because I have a live and learn on Tuesdays that are just going to become, Tuesday talks. And I'm just going to classify items and see if they're dutiable or not. So
Very important. Very
yeah,
important.
I'm just going to like spin off whatever you talk about, and then that'll be my topic of the day.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea, Benita.
Mhm.
And yeah, in fact, I will be talking about all sorts of things that are impacting logistics and supply chains, which currently obviously is a lot. But I don't want to do it like a monologue-ish thing, or appearing that I'll be the teacher. But what I much rather have in mind with Joy of Logistics, number one, I want to show the audience that even today, logistics doesn't have to be a nightmare or doesn't have to be overwhelming. But at the same time, I also want to inform them about what's going on. And I also want to try to, just give them food of thought, or food for thought. That's probably the best way, offer some guidance, some other ideas, something to think about. And of course, with the comment section, they are always able to ask questions. And I think this will be interesting, and we'll have
It's
an
going to be
amazing time.
fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I like what your content, and so I know that this will be fun. And we support you wholly, holding your hand from Canada.
Excellent. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, because Benita went ahead, but I have this prepared for the introduction, but we are going to do it in a different sequence, right? So I found this in The Economist, right? I know the topic is something different what we are talking about here, but basically I found it. I said, okay, this is probably the best welcome for Christoph. The new Germany in logistics and supply chain.
Okay.
Just for the graphics, I use it just for the graphics.
Oh yeah, okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, I'm gonna be like any audience member out there and be like, I don't get the inside joke, guys.
Well, it's just like most of the time I laugh at myself, and I was thinking about today. Yeah, last night. I mean, last night I was thinking about today, and I was thinking, of course, about Christoph, that he's gonna start his new show on LinkedIn, and I start reading the some article.
Huh? It's an egg with a penguin.
Oh
no.
Oh no, Benita, no.
Yeah. Help me.
Yeah.
Here, you gotta help me.
I'll jump in. So that's some sort of an eagle.
Okay.
But very
rare.
Yeah.
It's going extinct.
It's a little bit different than the American eagle.
Okay.
But it's I'd call it a national symbol. You also find it, for instance, on euro coins, German euro coins. On the back side, they have
So there's all sorts of nuances here that I need to learn, and I'm sure the viewers don't mind at all.
No, probably they had a similar question, Benita. So thank you for raising it.
Yeah, I always create trouble, right?
And then so do I. So we're double trouble.
Yes. So as I was saying, I mean, I was thinking about today, and I saw the new Germany, and I said, "Oh, this is perfect because we are going to have a visitor from Germany." So this is the new Germany in logistics and supply chain. And thank you, Christoph, for joining us. By the way, let us know about you for the audience that they don't know or they haven't got the time to meet you on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. So hi everybody. My name is Christoph. I'm from Germany, as Jose and Benita already alluded to. I have a intense logistics background. I did a my bachelor's degrees in economics combined with logistics. And after finishing, I started in a mid-sized freight forwarding company with locations in Germany, obviously, in Mexico, as well as in the US. Currently, I'm working as a key account manager, and I'm working in terms of container, meaning ocean freight shipping, as well as air freight globally. I have my clients all over the place. I do all types of commodities, and my passion is, as Jose already alluded to, indeed logistics, especially proven and working concepts for my clients, and I love to help them out with their shipments and with the questions they have. And in addition to that, this is also how I met Benita and Jose. I post frequently on LinkedIn under the hashtag Planet Logistics, everything written together, where I post about all sorts of different types of supply chain management, whether it's concerning a transport, whether it's concerning a certain impact on logistics, whether it might be congestions, strikes, which is currently the hot topic all over the place. But I also love to provide food for thought, to rethink operations, to rethink the status quo. And I also love to talk about ventures and approaches towards more sustainable logistics, more green or greener logistics. That's something that is really thrilling to me. And these are all parts and topics that I'm going to talk about on The Joy of Logistics on my show for the Coffee Break Logistics, of course, as well. Yeah.
Can you tell me more about what is the show about, and what we are going to have next Tuesday?
Sure. So the first episode, the pilot episode, the Grand Slam episode, if you want to like that.
No, you can't get a Grand Slam till you do 3.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. You got me. Thank you, Benita. Wow. So this will be a guidance. This will be some guidance, some ideas that I want to share with you guys, with the audience, given the current turmoil in global logistics, all these various impacts, whether it's the current situation in Russia, whether it's strikes or potential strikes in Europe or in the US as well. And within the midst of all this turmoil and this roller coaster, I want to offer some ideas, some concepts to think about towards the audience. Yeah, thank you, Jose. This will be my cover. Those guidances I want to offer because I want to not just only create awareness throughout the audience, but I also want to reach them a hand, although it's just virtually, but I want to reach them a hand and show them that they're not alone, that I'm there to assist and to support. And I want to.
Yeah, I mean, we're so happy, and of course, we'll be there to give you a hand as well. So there's no pressure. And I just want to know, Christoph, what kind of car is this?
That's a good question. I mean, it's not mine. That's something I can tell you for sure, Benita. If I would have to guess, maybe it's like an old Lamborghini or an old car.
Okay. So an Italian.
And it's definitely a super sports car. Yeah.
Right. I just wondered because I know that like in Stuttgart they're known for having like the Porsche and the Mercedes museum there. So for any car buffs, like you're gonna want to get a hold of Christoph.
Oh, absolutely. Stuttgart is basically the German Detroit.
The German Detroit. Yes.
There you go. Now we are talking, right?
Except it's not like Fords and Chevys. It's like Porsches and Mercedes.
Correct. And you got a lot to see and to do there. So everybody who is interested or never has been there, yeah, please feel free. It's definitely worth a trip. Definitely.
I was gonna come visit you before my cruise, but then I found out that you need a 𝐿𝐢𝐳𝐷 to golf.
Oh, yeah. But I think what's your handicap, Benita?
I don't have a handicap because I don't have a membership. So,
Oh, okay. I see.
but I mean, I could go to a course that there's many around and then get one, I guess, a handicap.
Then you don't have any problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as long as you can. The 𝐿𝐢𝐳𝐷 is basically a something like a driver's license. Okay, so you can show it to the golf course and say, look,
Yeah.
I'm Benita. I can do it. I'm allowed to do it. I'm a professional. I know how to handle
We'll take this offline, Christoph. We'll take this offline.
Okay.
Hey, Christoph, I have a question. Out of the box thinking, what that it means to you? Because I know that you display that in your profile. So let us know about that part.
Sure. So out of the box thinking means to me, whenever it can be a challenge, but it can be also a process that seems to be inefficient. And I love to sit down to map it up to see, okay, where's the starting point? Where's my finish point? And which routes or ways can I come up with to do it more efficient, to do it better, or just simply to get it done? Again, it's a little bit depending about what we are talking. Basically, new shoes for old ways. I think that brings it best. Try to rethink what's going on.
Are you planning to invite people to your show as well?
I will. Yeah. I will. I think I got a lot of interesting folks in my network already, and a lot of them have so much to say, and I'd love to provide them a stage to spread the word and their information and also their knowledge and experiences with the audience, because I think, and that's something that's really great about LinkedIn. There are not just so many interested people, but there are also so many interesting people which oftentimes have so much to say, but either they hold back or they just don't have the audience. But that's something that I also want to tackle and want to provide them a stage for. Yeah.
Yeah, and LinkedIn is the best place. I mean, LinkedIn. Thank you to LinkedIn, I got the opportunity to meet Benita, and then there you go. the rest is history, right?
Right.
Great personalities. Benita is a LinkedIn rock star, like you are as well. So I'm very blessed to have all these professionals that I can learn from.
Likewise.
So talking about the shipping containers and stuff like that, I mean, who knows the story about the shipping container?
Where it originated from, or what do you mean?
Yep.
Oh yeah. That's yeah, I know it.
Okay, let us know then.
I know it. So after I believe Second World War, a guy, an American named Malcolm McLean, he had that fantastic idea to think outside the box and come up with a new concept. Because prior to that, I think that's also interesting for the audience. Prior to that, you only had, which is these days called conventional freighters. So meaning prior to that, everybody had, big ship, and someone had some pallets, someone had barrels, drums, sacks, big bags, maybe even. But everything was more or less loose loaded. Okay, and of course, ports and oftentimes also the ships themselves had their own cranes to load and unload the cargo autonomously. Okay, and Malcolm McLean had the idea to simplify it, to make everything more efficient. And he thought, okay, instead of everybody putting on their individual stuff, you couldn't stack it pretty well. So what you gonna do? And he came up with the idea to actually take a box, put the cargo inside the box, and then lift it onto the ship or unlift it from the ship. With that idea in mind, if I'm correctly, he took some old military ships that were not longer needed, I believe even tankers, and he rebuilt them. And I believe the first container vessel had, I believe, just short over 2,300 TEU capacity, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. You know a lot about the details. I have the book. Did you know that there's a gentleman named John McCowan that I think Christophe and Jose should get connected with, and he actually was mentored by McLean himself.
Isn't that I believe it's John McCowan, right? Who's the founder of Alpha Line, I believe, or Alpha Capital? Could be.
I'm not sure, but he wrote a book on it, and I have the book. I was just trying to look for it, but of course it's probably not unpacked yet.
But yeah, I am actually connected, or at least I'm a follower on LinkedIn.
Good.
Yeah, he has great content. Yeah, he
right?
has great content.
Yeah, he does.
So it's always take one person that is going to think different, is going to think out of the box, and then definitely start pushing an idea and make a complete revolution in any particular aspect in our life, right?
Right.
That's what I love about this picture, this cartoon, right? Because I mean, if we are eco-friendly, probably we are going to be thinking about, how to move a container using the air, using different technologies that are going to replace what is not good for the planet. So that's the only reason why I decided to bring this cartoon. As always, I got a cartoon on Fridays, and I found this very interesting.
It's like taking the game of Jenga to Lego.
So
or Tetris.
Right.
Or what is the company that is designing a ship that is going to be moved by, or the fuel is going to be using a different resource? It is Maersk, if I'm not mistaken.
Powered by solar. Like if we were going to call who was going to be the first to do it.
Yeah.
I do believe it could be Maersk, or maybe a spin-off of Maersk, because Maersk is pretty busy with trying different approaches, trying different concepts, which is fantastic, by the way. But what I've also noticed, Jose, over the course of the last year, or throughout the last year, more and more shipping lines. Hello, George. Great to have you. More and more shipping lines are pioneering in different routes, or let's say different sustainable or more sustainable approaches. I think I put it this way. That probably describes it best.
Right. And yeah, Maersk, there are so many different companies investing in the future, and Maersk is one of those. I would assume that is easy because they have the resources. It would be a shame if they don't do that, right?
Right.
And Nitro is probably what they're going to be using. They are planning to use for those mega ships to be able to move those containers. So I don't know if, definitely resources have to be put into in order to develop this technology. But it's amazing. It's amazing that we are start thinking about how to make it better, because the contamination of these particular chips. I mean, everyone seems to be that is concerned about the environment, right?
Correct.
But as a consumers, we promote that the environment is going to be destroyed, asking for more goods and more of everything.
Correct. Yeah. And let me just jump in here real quick, Jose. I heard, I gotta admit, I haven't checked it myself, but I heard apparently if you go on Google Earth, you could, at one point, you could actually see where container vessels and cruise ship are, cruising around. Not just that you actually physically see it moving around, but much rather by the pollution, by their exhaust stream that they are emitting, and they are highly polluting.
Interesting.
I know.
Interesting.
It is crazy, but I mean, technically, all the goods move. I would say 90% of the goods move around the world on shipping containers, unfortunately.
I'm seeing you're getting lots of love.
Thank you, Benita. I appreciate it. Yeah. But no. I mean, as you said, Jose. I mean, we are so deeply globalized, and no matter if you take a look on the U.S. or the whole North American continent, whether we're talking about Canada, Mexico, the U.S., but also especially Germany, or let alone whole Northern Europe, or Europe in generally. And there is just so much cargo moving, and even though we have a lot of the rail connections, for instance, towards Asia, but there's just so much cargo you can transport on rail, right? You will more or less always have to have ocean freight, because you just cannot connect Canada or the US or Brazil with Europe by rail. It's, at least as of today, it is impossible,
Right. So
yeah, there's not that many ro-ros in the world.
This is pretty obvious for so many people, but not for everyone. And probably we can talk about the different type of containers.
Fun.
Oh yeah.
Can you walk us through, Christoph, about what we have here?
Sure, absolutely. It's my pleasure, Jose. So yeah, guys and gals, what you're seeing here is basically the basic equipment when it comes down to international ocean freight. And of course, the first row, the general purpose containers, 20 foot, 40 foot, those are by far the most common. And probably, I would say probably everybody would have seen one by now. And you can use it for, general purpose, as the name says, for all dry cargo that doesn't have to be refrigerated or doesn't require any special needs or any special treatment. I think that's better to say. And the second line, the one on the left, the open top container, pretty similar. Oh yeah, and by the way, all have the same dimensions. So 20-foot container or 40-foot container, open top has the same dimensions as a regular general purpose container, and even the reefer container has. But the open top container is interesting if you have overheight cargo, for instance, a big machinery or turbines, or even big rubber wheels. I've seen them fitted, the big mining trucks, the wheels or the tires, the rubber tires, they are shipped in such a container, for instance. Nice thing is you can at any time open and close also the plastic roof, so to speak.
The tarp.
The tarp, thank you, which helps for loading and unloading processes. Then the reefer container, you can think of it like a big refrigerator. It's especially important for all sorts of perishable goods, fruits, meat, whatnot, fish. 45 container, 45-foot container is not so much common in within ocean freight. There are some carriers that offer them. Maersk, of course, is one. OOCL is another one. But it is much rather used, for instance,
Over the road.
Sorry?
Over the road transportation.
For the road, but also for rail transportation. For instance, within inner American or cross-country Mexico to the US or to Canada, respectively, also in Europe.
Just wondering.
Sorry?
Just wondering.
Yeah.
If you were going to put your Lamborghini in one of these containers and then fill it with wheat, which one would you choose?
Well, I wouldn't.
Right. Good answer.
I wouldn't, Benita. But I would split them up. In fact, I would ship the Lamborghini. Well, if I would buy a Lamborghini and I would ship them, I would actually use it and ship it by air with an airplane. But the wheat, for instance, or all sorts of corn and but even plastic pellets, those are used or shipped in a bulk container, which is the first one on the top right. The difference here is, although it also has doors on the backside, you also have some holes on top where you just imagine you drive with it on a truck or even on a rail, on a train, below a silo, and then the hose from the silo just opens up and it fills the container. And a little bit similar concept, bottom left, the tank container, mostly shipped as a 20-foot, and that's perfectly for hazardous bulk liquids, like all sorts of acids, but even oil. But you can also use it for, if it's properly cleaned, of course, for food, meaning wine, but even water, syrups, all sorts of lemonade and something like so. And then on the bottom middle to the right, those are special sorts of containers, the flat racks and the platforms. As you can see, you can either install the head and the back side, or you just leave them plainly flat. And this is very important for oversized cargo, and whether that's it for maybe big trucks, but also especially heavy machinery, all sorts of turbines, generators. So I hope that gives everybody a little understanding when to use which type of container.
Yeah, that is fantastic description. I would like to go back to the open top. Just because I have the opportunity to see the loading and offloading of that requires a tremendous skill, because as you mentioned, it's something that is oversized, that unfortunately is the size of those goods that is going to be in that container overpass the roof, let's say, and then the tar have to be accommodated to be able to protect that. And loading and unloading that, it requires a lot of effort from the operators, and also you have to be very well skilled on doing that. Benita, when you were in Houston, probably you got the opportunity to see a lot of project cargo as well, right?
Yeah, and in Duluth, it's like actually a pastime of ours to sit on the bench and watch. Like in Duluth, it's the only large port like that is in the Great Lakes. And a lot of people don't know, but the Great Lakes are actually attached to the ocean. Like ships can sail through the Great Lakes with those locks. Like those are common in Europe, but in Canada, US, that's the only place you'll find those locks. But yeah, Houston was like huge port. But yeah, no, like, see, I always get made fun of by the freight and logistics guys because, you know, I don't really get to go down to the port to see things. I just get pictures. I just get pictures.
Almost the same.
Mhm.
What ports have you visited, Christoph?
Antwerp and Rotterdam.
Wow, Rotterdam is probably one of the biggest ones, and it's a beautiful operation there.
Yeah, and it still keeps growing because what a lot of folks don't know is Rotterdam, or no, wrong. The port of Rotterdam is actually built inside the ocean. Yep.
Like submerged?
No, what the Dutch did here was they were excavating a lot of sand, and then they started to form the docks based on that sand, and of course compared with soil and concrete into the ocean. And that's actually pretty significant, and that's a huge advantage for Rotterdam because, as you know, the vessel sizes kept and keep on growing pretty fast. Actually, we were just talking about the first container vessel by Malcolm McLean with roughly 2,000 whatnot TEU, and today the largest vessel is what I just read last week by MSC with more than 24,000 containers. Just think of that, 24,000 containers. These things are huge, and obviously you need a lot of space for that vessel to actually go on quay, for loading processes. Plus, you also need the infrastructure. You just can't try to unload a vessel size like that with just one or two cranes. I mean, it would take weeks. And so you got to make sure that you have the infrastructure, and that's a huge advantage. Yeah.
I always think of like how people don't realize what a shortage of cranes there are in the world. Like, cranes are the one piece of equipment that I've seen holding up entire billion-dollar projects. You have everything there at the port, you're missing the crane.
Correct. And it's not just a shortage of cranes in places where they're building new ports or expanding ports, but just think also of places where they are still working with cranes from the 70s or maybe the 80s, which are just
right. Not compatible with this new infrastructure.
Correct.
You mean? Got it.
Yeah.
And do they have any plans to expand in the ocean, or basically they don't have any more opportunities to expand?
I did read that they are so because you have, for Rotterdam, you have one part of the port which is destined for all sorts of project cargo and fruit and that stuff. And then you have Maasvlakte 1 and 2, which are the container operations. And I believe last year I read an article that they are thinking about expanding to a third terminal or a third section for Brent. Absolutely, I'll be happy to do so. Thank you, sir. So they are going to expand into another dock or container section, simply because not just the size of the vessel is growing, but also the amount of the vessels is growing. I mean, Jose, you said it in the beginning. MSC has 600 plus vessels now. Maersk has also 700 and whatnot vessels. Plus, there is a whole bunch of other carriers, that also have their vessels. Plus, then you have those small feeder vessels, which also need to be handled. So you require a huge amount of space.
Yes.
Estimated.
Rotterdam used the principle that they use in Narita, building the airport in Narita, Japan, probably, right?
It could be. I don't have much information about that. And just for the audience, because they might be asking, oh, what is Jose talking Japan? And Narita, well, Tokyo has two airports. You have Narita and Haneda, and one is solely dedicated for incoming planes, and one is solely dedicated for outgoing planes.
That might be more efficient.
Correct. Yeah, it is, especially because Japan has to closely watch their space. Obviously they're on an island, so they just can't expand, in all sorts, shapes, forms, whatever. So that's a pretty good idea also for, definitely.
I mean, for someone that like this kind of stuff, I mean, I watched the documentary about how they build the airport. It is amazing. It's completely mind blowing. So it is a mega project that costs millions and millions, but it definitely is very interesting to see how the human being achieve things that are almost impossible.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And continue the conversation about ships. These are the different type of ships. It is very interesting. So can you expand on this, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. So I'll start on the top left. General cargo ship. Those are the ones that I also referred to. Prior to containerized ships, you had the general cargo ships, or sometimes they're also called conventional freighter. They are much smaller than container vessels, and they require, of course, craneage, where cargo will just get loaded in the belly, and those are mostly used for project cargo. Top right, liquid bulk tanker. Well, the name says it. Mostly used for, or not mostly, solely used for liquid bulk stuff, whether that's all sorts of gasoline, fuels, etc. You don't necessarily hear a lot news about tankers and general cargoes, but also the LNG carriers. They just keep on running. They are there, and there is a whole ton of them. I mean, it's crazy, especially tankers. It's crazy. LNG, those are rather new vessels, especially with now the hype on LNG. Everybody is talking about LNG. And actually, the Japanese are pretty big invested in LNG tankers. They're pretty smart, and they are pushing that forward.
They have to be, they're temperature controlled, right?
Yes, temperature and pressure, because you wanna you wanna lower the pressure as much as possible, because then you can store more. I think it's cubic meters then. Of gas inside that. And side note, everybody is talking about more and more about hydrogen, liquefied hydrogen, and the Japanese are also working on. Thank you, Benita. Are also working heavily on the hydrogen carriers, because somehow they have to come from or has to be transported. Dry bulk, those are extremely important. As you can see, they have their own cranes on there. Those are oftentimes used for wooden products, logs, timber, etc. But also for big bags. For instance, starches, pellets, resins. Those are used and shipped with dry bulks. Yeah, cruise ship is pretty easy. Cruise ship is where Benita will be going on to for her well-deserved vacation. Then obviously the container ship, which is solely transporting containers. They don't have their own cranes on there. Those are on ports. And so-called ro-ro ships, which are called ro-ro. It's an abbreviation for roll on, roll off. And those are oftentimes used for cars, So for instance, when Ford will ship out their F-150, 350s to Europe, then they take a large carrier like that.
Wait a minute.
Okay, I'll wait.
Why would anyone in Germany, well, I guess the farmers and stuff, but like, do you see Ford F-150s in the city?
No, not that much. But what I do see are Ford Raptors
Raptors. Okay.
and Dodge Rams. Dodge Rams have been becoming more and more popular over here. Yep.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there would be like German truck driving dudes. Do they soup them up?
Benita,
I don't know why that was funny. Do they soup them up? They could be girls too.
The use case is different because in Canada and the US, based on what I've seen, they're used by almost everybody, especially people on farms and construction. They're just handy. That's what a pickup truck is.
Right. I just laugh because in Alberta we get made fun of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, by the English. Like I was in France and they were trying to guess where we were from. They're like, "Oh, you got to be Americans." We're like, "No, not Americans." They're like, "Where else do you get people that speak English like you?" And then we're like, "We're from Canada," and they're like, "Toronto?" I'm like, "No." It's right, because it's very general. They just generalize you, and it's like Calgary. Oh, so you drive those Ford 150s, which are proper weapons.
But I guess it's the same with Germans. We are famous for our Oktoberfest, apparently. So okay, but believe it or not, Benita, Mercedes-Benz has their own pickup truck line since a couple of years. And this really started to gain traction out here, but much more as a lifestyle thing, like an SUV. No one needs it here, but for people that want to stick out and they want to use something else, something different.
Well, SUVs are good for like people with kids and people with tools in their trunk, like golf bags, ski equipment, camping gear. So like SUVs are really popular here for functionality as well, because the mountains are just an hour and a half away.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's great.
Talking about cars, I mean, when I came to this country, I mean, I'm talking about 30 years ago, something that caught my attention is that people have those big cars, right? Those SUVs or big trucks. But it seems to be that they live in the truck because they have everything in the truck.
Right. That's what I'm going to start doing.
But for example, where I'm coming from, we don't see that. I mean, a car is for driving from your house to the office and whatever, right? But not to use it as an storage unit.
Oh, I have to ask why the FPSO was not on the vessel chart.
Oh, that's a good question.
Is it because it's mostly stationary?
I really don't know. I have to apologize because I don't know, my production team, I mean, just can answer that question.
I'll take it up with your production team then.
But by the way, I have something else for you, Jose, to take up with your production team.
Oh my God. Let me write that down.
there is a small, well, it's a very, very tiny fraction, but there are also so-called conroe vessels.
Say it again.
I don't know what those are.
Conroe.
Conroe? I don't know.
And conroe is a mix. A conroe vessel loads half of it rolling, ro-ro,
okay,
and the other half container, con.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. And like, yeah, no, ro-ros aren't just for cars. I remember loading ro-ros like from the office, loading them at Neptune Port and then shipping them to Alaska on the Canadian coast. So,
Oh wow. Okay. That's
mhm.
and in fact you brought up a very interesting point, Benita. You're absolutely correct. Those are not just for cars, because in Ro-Ro you divide or you differentiate between two categories. Let me put it here, two categories. So you got self-driving cars, trucks, blah 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 blah, and then you
Oh,
have not self-driving, or
because they came off of a train, so they get it's like in this case it was like nutrients and fertilizers. They come off of trains in the prairies and then get to the Neptune port, which is in like in that Vancouver area above Vancouver, and then get onto a Ro-Ro and then go up to Alaska, which is north of there.
it's like a big ferry, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let me just finish this one real quick. The unpropelled machinery, they go on small dedicated trailers. They remain just on the port and the vessel, and you could use it, for instance, for big generators that you put up there, and then it gets tucked inside the row vessel. And that's sometimes also an awesome alternative compared to containers. Yep.
It is amazing. I mean, I learned things that I didn't know before. Thank you, Chris, for that.
My pleasure. That's the reason why I'm here. That's the reason why you're bringing me in.
It's happy hour for all of the people that contribute to CoffeeBreak Logistics and for people that view, right?
Right,
Sure.
right. And it is always a great opportunity. And this is amazing. I mean, that is what I always thank, to wake up every single morning, because one more, I got the opportunity to learn something new. And today is one of those days. I know about some aspects about the ocean transport, but not everything in detail, like Chris described. So thank you again for expanding my knowledge on the containers.
I'm glad
That
if I
was
can help.
really fun.
So this is the beautiful list about those companies, right? Number one, number three, number four, number five. So a lot of ships on the ocean, unfortunately, or fortunately, because that's how we get things that in the past, I mean, it was very difficult to acquire, right?
Correct.
Merck's being the number one with MSC, followed by CMA. I mean, technically, I mean, they are fighting the market, but they are very close together anyway. It's very curious. I mean, is there any good explanation why everything is? I mean, the three main companies are from Europe.
That's a tough question. It's a good question.
Are they the oldest? Like, have they been in the business the longest?
Poor. I mean, that's a tough question, Benita, because you have to see a lot of these companies that you see on there have been growing also through acquisitions or through mergers. Okay, so I know Hapag-Lloyd, for instance, they came up out of two different German shipping lines, and I have no idea how old they are. I think one is from the 1800s somewhere, I guess. Maersk has been pretty long in business, but also MSC. I believe MSC, I believe they started also, at least their cruise shipping. I believe they might be even from the 1940s, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So that's
cool.
the question.
Yeah. I mean, the top 10, basically, we don't see any other companies from any other side of the world other than Europe and Asia, right? Period.
Yes. I mean, part of the reason is also that the former U.S. lines, which where they're available early in the day. For instance, 𝐿𝐲𝐿and, which is, I believe, the company from Malcolm McLean, 𝐿𝐲𝐿and. This has been acquired by Maersk.
Oh, interesting. I was going to ask you, yeah, like, do you remember, I mean, I guess we can read it, but when Mr. McLean came up with the containers, did he go to one specific shipping line and try to sell it to them first, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but well, he started the first container line himself with his own vessel. Yeah. I think he bought, maybe I'm off of the number here, but I believe he started with 6 former military vessels, and then more and more increased and expanded the fleet. And I believe then he had 12 and then maybe 20. But yeah, I'm not 100%
do a plug here, Jose.
I'm sorry?
Because I just remembered. I just have to do a plug for 𝐿𝐲𝐿𝐼𝐻, because she also writes a book on dynasties of the sea. So I got to rip into that book to find out more about like these dynasties, right, that have been going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we have, by the way, I mean, we have 𝐿𝐲𝐿𝐼𝐻 here on the show, right? That was last year, and it was an exciting time talking about containers.
Oh,
and
wow.
the trade war, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was amazing to have her. She's on vacation. She's on vacation, by the way. That's the reason why probably you guys hasn't seen anything from her on LinkedIn.
Right.
She's on vacation, like Benita is going to be shortly. By the way, Benita, when are you going on vacation?
I am going on vacation. I am leaving September 7th.
Wow.
Just around the corner.
Yeah, and it could be that you'll see Christoph and I together for that happy hour.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. So we need to make that happen.
Absolutely. Jose, you still have time to book your flight too.
So true.
Yeah, no. I believe that this is not the time, but someone have to.
I went to go visit Jose too in March this year, Christoph.
That is correct. Yes, TPM is going to be taking place in Long Beach, California. Therefore, the whole expectation is that we are going to be able to meet the whole team there. So looking forward to that as well. So you need to start planning, Christoph, maybe.
Oh, right? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, as I told you the other day, Jose, Los Angeles and the whole West Coast basically is still on my I gotta visit list. So that'll be perfect time.
Yeah, participating on the TPN and then at the same time have some vacation, it would be a great idea. Christoph, once again, I mean, it's a pleasure for me to have you here. I know that we're going to have a lot of fun, and most importantly, we are going to learn. And definitely, I'm looking forward for next Tuesday, when it's going to be your first show, 7:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That it would be what, 4:45 Germany time?
Yeah, 4:45 German time, or what's that called? I think German European Central Standard Time. I believe it's called something like that.
Yeah, it's called CET, Central European Time.
Correct. Benita, you got it. Yeah, that's correct. 4:45.
Many people probably they said, "What exactly they are talking about?" Right? I mean, we are not. Not everyone is familiar. Yeah, not everyone is familiar to dealing with that. I mean, that's the beauty of this industry. You learn a lot, right? Things that, I mean, we don't question about, but there's a reason for everything. And
correct.
For people in this industry, I mean, it's very common to deal with different time zones. That's what we need to do, right?
Absolutely. And
any plans for this weekend, Chris?
Well, I gotta enjoy the beautiful summer. Although it's so dry out here. It's crazy. This is how I picture Nevada actually, but I want to make sure I take full advantage of the nice weather, and I'll also prepare, of course, for Tuesday. I'm looking forward also to the audience. I'm looking forward seeing a lot of you folks there, and feel free also to prepare questions. Gonna be a fantastic time, and I'll hope you enjoy it.
How about you, Benita? Are you golfing this weekend?
I'm hoping to.
Oh, good.
Hoping to. Mm-hmm.
As I said before, and not before, many different times, right? And that's the reason why I truly believe that our slogan has a purpose. We are better together because we win together, and that's what we are hoping for everyone. That everything that we do, we can do it together because everyone wins one way or the other.
Yeah, collaboration is key, definitely.
Absolutely, I truly believe that. And talking about collaboration, I mean, Benita knows about a lot of collaboration, right?
These are W's.
Okay.
I hope it's not a nasty sign and like a nasty symbol in Germany.
No.
Okay, good thing. See, W's. Win-win.
Yeah,
win-win. I got
Yeah.
It took a little bit long for me.
Christoph is like, she's given me like 3 fingers. I want to know.
Oh my God. Benita, you showed me last time, I mean, this, right?
Finger hearts? I don't even know how to do it anymore.
You see, we learn every single time. Something new is out there, right? Well, this has been great. I mean, it's been a happy hour. It was very happy for me. I laughed, I learned. So what else I can ask for? I enjoy with Benita and Chris. Definitely, I have a great time.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping that next Friday we are going to be able to see each other again here in CoffeeBreak Logistics and Supply Chain Happy Hour. Don't forget, Tuesday, 7:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:45 Central.
CET, Central European Time.
Jesus Christ.
You can use Google. Google works.
Okay, thank you so much to everyone that was watching today and listening today.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Take care.